Welcome to the All the Stuff podcast, where we jam about money, clutter, and food, and the real stuff under this stuff. Join me, Lisa Carpenter, your resident food coach, along with my co-hosts, money coach Jen Turrell and clutter coach Lisa Sharp, as we help you release what's weighing you down and heal your relationship with food, money, and clutter from the inside out. Welcome to the All the Stuff podcast. I am one of your three co-hosts, Lisa Carpenter. I am the resident food coach, along with my good friends, Jen Turrell, our money coach, and Lisa Sharp, our clutter coach. And I think our coaching goes way deeper than that on many levels. And today, I didn't tell them what the topic was going to be. I just hit record. So this is going to be kind of a fun topic, but I think it's relative to a lot of the things that we're all going through in our lives and in our businesses. And I was talking to some clients last night about it as well, is, are you willing to keep going even when the reward that you want doesn't land on your lap immediately? And in fact, it may not land on your lap after 5 tries. It may not land on your lap after 6 tries. So the reason that I'm thinking this way is I was talking to some clients again last night about weight loss, and they're doing all the right things, right? So even though they're trying to detach themselves from weight loss, because this is kind of, one of my more advanced groups, they're trying to detach themselves from weight loss. They're trying to do all the things because it makes them feel good. They want to make peace with food in their body. They don't want that internal struggle all the time. There is that piece of, they get on the scale and it's like, oh, but I've done all the things and I didn't get that thing. So even though it's not totally about weight loss, I didn't get that thing. And for me right now, I'm in the middle of, by the time this goes live, I will have wrapped up my launch. And this, you guys know, this has been a big deal for me to put my hat back in the ring and do this on a bigger scale, and proud of myself, proud of my team. We followed through. I'm really happy with how my master classes went. And yesterday I got hit with the realization that this probably isn't going to play out the way that I necessarily want it to, even though I thought I'd completely detached myself from the outcome. Ha ha, right? Like the little grandma show up and it's like, no, you didn't. You still wanted some things. Yeah. So it's recognizing I had to sit yesterday and go, okay, so I've done this in a whole new way. It's not the same as last time, and it's definitely has been successful. But it's not exactly how I would have wanted it to completely play out. And I had to sit there yesterday going, wow, I am going to have to do this many, many more times. And I don't know when it'll actually totally click and I'll get that momentum that I'm wanting, because I do want an influx of women coming into my program because I know how life-changing it is, but I can't drag people kicking and screaming. And this time, especially for my launch, was to an audience of people who've never met me before. Right? Mm-hmm. So they're getting introduced to our podcast, because I've been talking about our podcast on the master classes. So they don't have that relationship with me. So we have a difference between, warm audience and cold audience, the new people. Mm-hmm. So it's going to take a while for those people to warm up to me and get to know my product and what I offer. So it's been a really, really interesting ride. So I thought it would be kind of a fun conversation to have, and even look at my debt. Like how long did I have to chase that before it was finally like, oh. And today I was so excited because my credit card bill came, like the one that I, paid off. Mm-hmm. So I was excited to rip it open. I thought it's going to have a big zero on it.
Oh no.
They printed it before I paid it. So I'm like,
I've experienced that before. Like,
I didn't even get the reward of the zero balance yet. I have to wait another month. So even though I know it's zero, I have to wait another month for that piece of paper to come to show me the zero. And it was just like, really, really? Can you wait again?
I want the thing.
Go online and take a screenshot.
It's not the same. I want to open the envelope.
I totally
understand that. Nothing.
Yeah, right?
I owe nothing.
I don't even get them with paper envelopes anymore.
I have to. I'm a paper girl, so
okay.
So, and I know, Lisa's been working on some stuff in her business. I'm sure you've had this happen to you, but it's that, are you willing to keep moving through the discomfort, not knowing when you're going to get there, but having unwavering faith that is coming? Because yesterday I was like, maybe I should just quit. Maybe the universe is trying to tell me that this is just not the right way.
Forget it.
I'm out.
So true.
I'm out, right?
So true.
And then the universe teases me and it's like, oh, here's 2 new people that have signed up. I'm like, making this real. You're killing me. You're killing me. Yeah. Right? So I actually said to one of my coaches, I feel like the universe is playing a game with me. And she's like, it's not really the way the universe works, Lisa. Like, the universe isn't here to screw with you. What are you doing to force it? What are you doing? Like, how tightly am I gripping? And I realized that a lot of this for me was I'm so tightly gripping to how I want it to look, how I want to make it happen, when that's not really my responsibility. I have to show up and just do my thing with, intention behind it, but I got to let go of how and when this is all going to come together and when it's all going to happen and what that is even going to look like. So there you go. There's our surprise topic.
I like it. I think it's a good topic. Do you want to go next, Lisa Sharp?
No, I want you to, Jen.
Well, what it made me think of is I'm trying to remember the book that I was reading that had this quote in it. It might have been Big Magic because I've listened to Big Magic many times on audio. I love it. But it was the story of a famous author. I can't remember exactly which one, but it was one of those very prolific, very financially rewarded authors who was giving a talk. And at the end of the talk, a man raised his hand and he said, I've been writing as long as you have, your entire career. I've been writing books and I've had no success, nothing published, and it's killing me. Like, I am killing myself for this. And please don't tell me just keep going, keep writing, because I've heard that 100 times and I'm sick of it. And the guy instead said, you know what, I'm so sorry for all of your pain, and this is obviously causing you anguish. You're obviously unhappy because of writing. So I'm going to tell you, rather than keep going, I'm going to tell you to stop. I'm going to tell you don't do it anymore. Like, if it's making you unhappy, don't do it. Play golf, play tennis, go do some other things, live your life, have a good time. And then if you find that you miss it, that you miss the act of writing, that the act of writing was adding to your life enough that you want to do it whether you're financially rewarded or not, then you'll probably have to go and do it again, because that's what it is. So I think that's a really good point, is the point of what we're doing that it enriches our lives and makes us have fuller, happier, more exciting lives day by day, or is it only with this one single goal out in front? And I think exercise and health and weight loss is such a perfect example of that. Like this morning, I went and did my dog walk right after dropping my kids off, and I am so much more energized. I waited to have coffee until I got back from it. I feel so much better, and I'm like, God, why don't I do that every day? Why don't I put my exercise, at least some light exercise first? Because I just feel better. And I had no idea. I mean, I'm sure walking some is better than sitting and doing no walking, so it will probably head towards my weight loss goal. But at the same time, I'm not going to see a dramatic result from it. But yeah, I think anyone who has any kind of long-term goal that you have to work towards over time comes to those moments of being like, I am seeing no progress. I'm getting nowhere. And I mean, I can't help thinking of my writing goals too, like how long I have wanted to finish a novel and see it published. But the truth is, writing every day feels good whether or not it does culminate into something. Like the writing that I've done every day for the last decade, it's a lot, and I've done a lot of work through it. Like I find that I look at my thoughts differently when I put them on a page or a screen. When I take the time for them to pass through my fingers, it's like I can process it differently, and it comes out differently, and it allows me just sort of a different perspective and time, and it does feel very therapeutic. So whether or not I ever get a novel done, I don't think I would stop my daily writing. I still want my novel, but I can see these incremental, and the truth is, once I publish it, I may not sell it. But will I do another one afterwards? Like, yeah, I already have 2 more planned. Like, I have 3 books planned right now. So I think that's part of it, is the journey and the process enough to make you keep. Do you love what you're doing enough to keep going, even if there is no immediate and maybe even no ultimate future jackpot, but you get the little bit of life improvement day by day as you go through it.
Yeah.
Lisa Sharp, your turn.
As the saying goes, right, the journey is the destination, and sometimes even I forget that right? Because I think in all of us, there's this part that's like, but aren't I done yet?
Mm-hmm.
Aren't I done?
I'm tired of doing this.
Yeah, I'm tired of doing this.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about laundry and dishes. I've done so much laundry in my life, please.
So true. It's so true. Yeah. This one.
Haven't I decluttered enough yet?
Yeah, right? Right? And it's so much like making peace with the process. And like, what are the stories that we're telling ourselves about the process? And how can we make it more enjoyable? How can we remove obstacles that make us really cranky? What can we reconsider about the way that we're doing something in any of these venues? Mm-hmm. You know, it's so important to really listen to what our outlook is, because it's all about outlook. You know, it's like I love that story in Big Magic that you're talking about, Jen, because sometimes you do just have to step back, and sometimes the biggest gift that you can give yourself is to walk away from something and to just give yourself that space to see how it feels to be away from it. Do you want to go back to it? Do you want to shift gears? Do you know, like, there are so many different ways to do it, but we're so tied to doing it one way and we're in it. It's so hard to see our own stuff because we're in it. And sometimes just really radically shifting something, like, oh, it's like when you go on vacation, you come back to your house and you're like, holy crap, my house is crazy town, right? Like, I can't even believe that, you know, like, it was so great when I was in that hotel, or when, you know, whatever, or I stayed with my friend and they have such a beautiful house. And it's like, you just get that different perspective. And I think that is such valuable information. That's really gold, because getting that sort of like that first instinct, that first shot of whatever it is that you're doing is, you know, it's like we just can't see it because we're in it. Yeah. But yeah, to Lisa's point, you know, of working on something that you can't see the tangible results of is intensely frustrating. And I have to say, like, my perspective about this, when Lisa brought it up, is really about business, because I've been in business for almost 4 years now. And when I started out, I had this vision of what it was going to be and how it was going to run, and, you know, how much money I was going to make and how many employees I was going to have and all this kind of stuff. And none of it has turned out the way that I thought that it would. And I absolutely have had points where I have just been like, forget it. I'm walking away. I'm going to go get a job. I don't want to be doing this anymore. But it's like the Big Magic example. Then I think about, like, okay, what would it be to not do this? What would it be to walk away from this, even though I'm not where I thought I would be, or if, you know, I don't have the result that I thought that I wanted, but was also detached from, right? You know, I think that's a really, really hard one. Like, but what would it be to not do this thing? And the answer for me is always, there's no way I couldn't do what I do. There's no way I could not do what I do. But sometimes then just looking at it and like, okay, but what parts of this are really causing me a lot of tension and friction? And some of it, you know, like Lisa's always saying, you just have to sit with it. Sometimes it's just really freaking hard and there's no way around it. And there are huge valuable lessons in doing those hard things, and we just have to do those. And we can get into trouble when we're constantly trying to avoid doing the hard thing. And we spend all this time and effort avoiding that perceived pain, when the pain might just be ripping off the Band-Aid. You know, but we're just sitting around thinking about the Band-Aid, and this Band-Aid is really going to hurt, and I haven't shaved my legs, and it's going to really pull out a bunch of hair, and, you know, make it into this thing. But then you do it, and it's like, it's over. My daughter did that last week. She had a tooth that was coming out. She literally, for 4 hours, I mean, it was like hanging, dangling, like a cartoon, right? Like, you know, and she couldn't eat, and she couldn't do her homework, and she was, you know, just obsessing about this. And my husband and I got so frustrated. We tried everything. Like, really, it'll just take 2 seconds. It probably won't even bleed at this point because it's so loose. And, you know, after, like I said, about 4 hours, my husband just went, blink, and it just fell out, and it was done with. But that's just what we do. We just want to avoid that little bit of, for overall, you know, like just releasing whatever that thing is. So Yeah, it's really tricky. There are definitely things in my business that I have been chipping away at for 6 months, and I'm finally starting to see some success with some of the stuff that I'm doing. That's a long time.
It's a long time.
That's a long time to be consistently working on something that I didn't know would work. And I still don't know that it's going to work, and I still don't know how it's going to play out. But every time I was met with the question, the internal question, what if I just stopped doing this? I was always like, no, I can't let this go. I want to see if I can make this work. And how can I make the process of the unknowing more palatable, lighter, because a lot of it was just feeling really heavy, like, but what if it doesn't work? But what if I've paid all this money and I've spent all this time, it doesn't work? It's like, well, what if it doesn't? Is that really the end of the world? No. Would I feel okay with just letting that go? Or just walking away from this and not knowing if I could make it work? No, for me, no. In this particular instance, no. But there have been plenty of things. I'm like all about decluttering.
Yep.
So I'm like, if it ain't working, let it go. But there are some things in life that are worth a shit ton of work. And like there's this great book called The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy that I really highly recommend. And I've listened to it a couple of times. I love Audible. Don't you guys love Audible?
I don't know that book. I'm writing that down right now.
Oh yeah, we'll put that in the links below.
Okay.
But the compound effect, the essence of the book is that consistency plus time equals success. So there's your whole book. You don't have to read it now. But it's all these case studies of people that, it's like the basketball player who just like does free throw after free throw, like in their head all day long. And that's how they get to do this thing that looks like magic to us, but really isn't. And that's the same thing in big magic. It's about putting in the work. It's getting your butt in the chair and doing the work.
I do want to bring up one devil advocate point though, which is, trying to think of the exact term. It's something like investment bias, where when you've sunk so much time and money into something, it's much, much harder to let it go and leave. Yeah. For instance, let's say the Concorde should have been scrapped way decades before it was, but the French and the English had put so many billions of dollars into this. They wanted an airplane that could fly across the Atlantic in the least possible amount of time, but that it never made money. It always lost. It lost until they finally closed it down. But they kept it running for so long because they'd invested so much, and they couldn't let it fail because they'd put too much into it. And I think we also sometimes have that investment bias. So it is good to kind of take a step back sometimes and see, am I continuing this just because I would feel stupid to have invested so much time and money in something that isn't ultimately going to work? Or is this really what I need to do regardless of the result? There are plenty of people. And then there is also that 10,000 hour becoming an expert thing. Like if you do put enough time and effort and concerted practice, the kind of practice that makes you better as opposed to just doing the same thing over and over in a rote kind of way, eventually you will become one of the best at whatever that thing is. So
I think it's really looking at the goal under the goal. The goal under the goal, because it is about time and tenacity and consistency, right? So even if, one of the reasons most people fail at weight loss is because they give up. Mm-hmm. They give up. They start to get closer and they're like, oh, this is going to take so long, and they give up. Like that, it's always why people quit. They're looking so far ahead at where they want to be. It seems so far away that they literally give up, because there is no secret to weight loss. It's time and tenacity and consistency. There's no secret to business. It's the same thing. Time, tenacity, consistency. And what keeps me going is the goal under the goal, right? So it's never about the weight loss. It's about how do you want to feel? So if you're banging your head against the wall and you can't take the weight off, it's first getting real with yourself about what are you and aren't you doing, because most people don't really want to admit to themselves. And it's not about shaming or blaming, but saying like, I can't have a donut every single day and think I'm going to want think I'm going to lose weight. Like it's just not going to happen. If I'm not showing up in my business, I'm not going to get the results I want. But it's also stepping back and saying, am I putting too much focus on just the weight loss? Because if it's not just about the weight loss, if it's about the goal under the goal, how I want to feel, am I willing to continue to show up, let it maybe take longer, but trust that I'm going to get there? So even in my business, it's, I know how many women I want in my community. I know what my program offers to the women who come into that community. I know what I want that community to provide me because, of course, it gives back to me. It's incredibly inspiring for me to go in there, especially when I've got new people coming in. They're hearing this all for the first time, and they've got that, like, panic look in their eyes. And then I've got this amazing community of alumni that are like, we gotcha.
Yeah,
like, it's
no problem.
Yeah, like, it's such an amazing, like, to look at what I've built is so amazing. And I know that, from a personal perspective, that program, the more it grows, allows me much more freedom in my business, right? Because the more money that comes into my bank account means that I can put myself out into the world even more. I can expand my reach even more, and I can enjoy some of the personal freedoms that I want to have in my business. But it's not going to happen like this. And it can't just be about, did your light just go down?
It did. It just broke.
Oh, that's no good. It can't just be, if it was just about the money for me, I would have given up eons ago because that program has cost me way more than it's actually brought in to date. So it's, it's holding those goals really loosely, not like with a chokehold. It's not a make or break, and really getting under them and digging into them, because that's the only way people are going to create consistency over time. Otherwise, it's just, you'll give up. You have to really know why you want it. So for anybody listening, kudos to all of you for having the courage to stay in the ring. Don't be afraid to fall down as many times as you need to fall down. I think in weight loss especially, people feel like they failed, right? If they've lost the weight and then put it back on, they feel like they failed. Whereas I look at it I look at it as that was a try. So what worked and what didn't work? What did you like? What didn't you like? How can you change this? This launch for me has been incredibly different. It's been very peaceful. Everything was organized, done in advance. It felt really, really good. So it's not the same as last time. I did grow and I did improve, and it's just another try. And what didn't work? And what do we still need to improve on? And what can you celebrate? And what can I celebrate? And that's the thing. I've been so good at celebrating all the pros. Mm-hmm. And yesterday I got totally taken down by and we all have those moments.
Totally.
But again, are you willing to get up and keep going, not knowing when the journey will end, if the journey will end, and what it's going to look like? So full surrender to, I'm just going to keep showing up, doing the things, walking the course, and being tenacious about what it is I want for myself. So
I want to add something in on that about support, because when there are always going to be people in our lives that are they don't want us to change. They don't want to see us succeed for whatever reason. And it has nothing to do with us. It has to do with that person and their perception of us and what, where they are emotionally and that sort of thing. And oftentimes it's your family members or people that we've been friends with for a very long time, or our coworkers. So, if we're having one of those face down moments, and we all will, and that's part of the process, please be careful about who you unload that to. Because if you are having one of those meltdowns and then you go to one of those people who will say, well, of course that happened. Of course, you're never going to succeed at this, or, oh, that's too hard, or that's never going to work, or, somebody who's just undermining you in it can be a very obvious or, kind of a subtle way. Yeah. What?
A passive aggressive way, maybe?
Yeah. So be careful with who you are sharing this stuff with. Please, reach out to people that are really in your corner, that really do want to see you succeed, or people who have done what it is that you are trying to get to, because those are the people that are going to say, yeah, this sucks. It's okay. And we can do this together, or, it really will work if you keep doing this, or whatever. So just be careful. I'm in a professional, group of professional organizers, and somebody came into one of these groups this week, and they were at the very beginning of starting their business. And she just said, I feel so lost. I really want to start my business. I've been dreaming about doing this for a couple of years, but everyone that is around me, including my spouse, thinks that this is ridiculous and that I can't do it. And so she's like really fighting this uphill battle. It's hard to do this stuff. It's hard to write. It's hard to lose weight. It's hard to declutter your house. It's hard to change your habits. So be careful about who you're talking to. And if you do have a lot of those sort of negative Nellies in your life, you don't have to get rid of all of them, but think about folding in a couple of people that aren't like that, getting into some support groups, online, there are tons of it. Come into our group and come share what it is that you're trying to do, and get people that are going to cheerlead you on and not just sort of go like, well, this is never going to work. Because it's so critical to success.
I absolutely agree. So I even recorded a live stream in one of my new groups with one of my newest business mentors, and it was hard for me. It was hard, like, sharing all the like nitty-gritty details, because most of these people I don't know. And he was kind enough to come back and record a live stream back for me, and it just like totally broke me, totally made me cry, because it was like, okay, even though this may not be going exactly the way I want it, I know that I'm in exactly the right place, and I know that I've given myself the right support moving forward. So when I come out of this, when I have my debrief and I'm able to say, okay, this is what worked and this is what didn't, I'm also going to have that support team around me to help move me forward. And then, of course, my biz besties that I can reach out to, and really, like, they'll always pick me up and say, you've got this and you can keep going. And that's so, so imperative, because when you're struggling, if you put yourself with one person who says, yeah, let's just like screw it, let's go for ice cream. Like, yes. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, that one person, that they're just going to be like, yeah, me too, and let's go. Like, I can't be.
Let's go have some fun.
Yeah.
When I'm all this work we've done.
Exactly. When I'm struggling, I need the person that's going to be like, no, I'm not going to let you quit, and is going to pull me up. So especially when it comes to weight loss, women tend to like, yes, let's both quit together. Yes. That's kind of how it rolls. So really make sure you surround yourself with people that are going to be like, no, it's not okay for you to just go eat a bag of Doritos or, a tub of Ben & Jerry's. Go do this, right? So we've got lots of groups to support you guys. Of course, get over into the All the Stuff podcast group and hang out there if you need support as well. So any final thoughts, ladies, on my surprise topic?
I think that wrapped it up pretty well.
I love it.
Perfect.
It's so important.
Okay, so head over to iTunes and please leave us a review, rate, subscribe. It is like social currency for us on iTunes, and we want to be discovered by more people because we're getting great reviews. People are loving what we're putting out, and we want to grow. We want to reach more people with our message, so make sure you share it as well.
And if you're watching this on YouTube, please subscribe to our channel and leave us a comment below. Let us know what you think about this. What are you working on? What struggles do you have?
Mm-hmm. And come over to our free Facebook group and get some support.
Yeah.
The link below.
Exactly. Okay, ladies, until next time, it's been a delight. Thanks for playing along with my, pop-up question. It's kind of fun. Mm-hmm. And I'll see you guys next time.
Okay, bye.
Bye.